In June this year, the German capital was hosting the anniversary conference of the Luxembourg Forum on Preventing Nuclear Catastrophe. Leading experts, ex-leaders and veteran politicians from around the globe have gathered here to evaluate the actual threat to nuclear non-proliferation. They're trying to name the regions, the countries from where such a threat may be coming. They also discuss such issues as the possibility of a compromise between Russia and the West on such issues, for example, as the ABM system deployment in Europe. These are the subjects that we will talk about today with the president of the International Forum, Vyacheslav Kantor. Good afternoon.
The Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty was signed over half a century ago, but nuclear weapons are still a huge issue. Since then, a few new states claimed they had obtained atomic bombs, including the isolated and unpredictable North Korea. Terrorists who can get access to nukes are great concern too, especially amid nuclear ambitions of some unstable Middle East regimes. In an effort to unite the world's leading non-proliferation and security experts, the Luxembourg Forum was created. It's the most important result of the International Conference on Preventing Nuclear Catastrophe, which was held in Luxembourg in 2007. Since the very beginning, the renowned businessman and philanthropist Dr. Vyacheslav Kantor has been the forum's president.
Hello, Mr. Kantor, and welcome to our program.
Hello.
I'll start with a couple of general questions. First of all, the venue. This time it's Berlin, but how do you choose the location? It's called the Luxembourg Forum because it started in Luxembourg, but how do you choose a venue?
Well, in this case, it's quite obvious. There has been a change in leadership in many of Europe's largest and strongest nations, which makes Berlin a logical choice. So we decided that with France and Italy and some other important European nations having new leadership, Germany's role in preventing a nuclear disaster is bound to increase. So we thought it'd be wise to attract the attention of the international community to our forum by holding it in Berlin.
As far as I understand, you're sponsoring the forum with your own money, at your own initiative. Do you also try to raise money otherwise? And overall, is it worth the money you're spending?
Well, to be precise, this isn't my money, or rather it's not just my money. The bulk of the funding for the forum comes from the European Council on Tolerance and Reconciliation, where I'm merely a co-chairman. Another co-chairman is former Polish President Alexander Kwasniewski. That is the actual sponsor. There is an endowment registered in Luxembourg that raises funds for all the operations and activities of that organization.
Then I'll rephrase my question. As co-chairs, you and Mr. Kwasniewski have to report to the endowment and its trustees about how that money is used. There must have been considerable sums committed in the past 5 years. Is it worth it?
Beyond any doubt, we are happy with the Luxembourg Forum. We've held 14 meetings over the past 5 years, hosted by practically every major capital in the world where crucial decisions are made. Stockholm, Washington, Moscow, London, Paris, and now we've made it to Berlin.
So you're saying the forum is worth its salt. At the same time, here is your recent quote. The world has become much more tense and much more unsafe than it was a year ago. We've come even closer to a breaking point in global security. What makes you say that? Would you consider yourself a pessimist, or are you just well informed?
Well, let me put it plain and simple. Where do the major challenges to global security come from? In the context of the Luxembourg Forum, it's two nations, Iran and North Korea.
So you do believe that Iran's nuclear program is potentially dangerous for its neighbors and the world in general?
Well, let's take a look at the facts. Today, Iran has almost 6,000 centrifuges that operate round the clock, and that number is increasing. Iran has about 6 tons of 3.5% low-enriched uranium. In addition, it has about 170 kilograms of uranium enriched to 20%. What does this mean? It means that Iran is already in possession of enough uranium to produce 7 or 8 warheads. These are the facts. Now there is another interesting consideration. The IAEA has been asking Iran, why do you need military technologies? Why do you need the so-called nuclear explosive devices? And actually many other components that are of no use for anything except for the production of nuclear weapons. And the IAEA is getting no answers. We're not talking about our expert community, it's the IAEA, the key authority in this area, that is not getting the answers.
Are you voicing the opinion of the Luxembourg Forum?
I certainly am.
As far as I can see, it's rather in line with the stance of the West than with that of Moscow. Because as far as I understand, please correct me if I'm wrong, these positions differ somewhat. The West generally has a sharper response to this program, to the point of discussing airstrikes against Iran's nuclear facilities, whereas Moscow keeps saying it doesn't see a threat, this is a peaceful program, and Iran has the right to develop civilian nuclear facilities.
You know, we're now entering an area that is in fact very important. And this area is, why do we need at all such civil society institutions as an expert community? You know, we're often accused, or rather, these are not actual accusations, they rather simply point out at things as they are. They say, you're well ahead of the time. You're probably saying all the right things, but they're not well timed. They're out of the political and economic context.